to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Catholic Archbishop Muheria has issued a statement warning Mr. President that you will not sustain the advertising job you are making in public if the results cannot be seen by Wanjeko. Sometimes these are the statements that presidents need brave men and women around him who can be able to look at him in the face and tell him, Mr. President, this is not going to work. I want us to look at this, and I've seen a response to Muheria, and immediately Muheria spoke about that. I think that is the same thing that President Ruto did in Kilifi. Kindly subscribe to our channel, and I want to humbly request you to click the notification bell. If you look at that screenshot there, hapo chini, there's a place subscribe. I've surrounded. Now, the notification bell is the one that is on the top left corner. I've also surrounded it right there. So when you click that red after subscribing, whenever a video is published, you will get a pop-up message in your phone. So that even if you are doing other things, you'll be able to realize, oh, the board has released a new video. And with that, you're not going to miss any of our factual, objective analysis. So kindly subscribe. Without much ado, I want us to listen to this statement from Anthony Muheria.
There has to be less rhetoric. We have to stop advertising and act. Government seems to be constrained to advertisement of government projects, advertisements of plans. Government is not advertising agency. It is an agency that implements actions. That's what we want to see. So let's learn government that follows rules, systems and builds, not government that has put all its machinery to advertisement. It was called governtisement. We have to move from governtisement to government. Stop advertising what we should do, we will do, we have done, and rather put yourself to get people, resources, experts, and we have great capacity even in our leadership in government that they can deliver, and especially the delivery to the poor, the delivery in the education system, the delivery in the health system, the delivery in the system that really is about the economy and facilitation of our ecology. How I wish that we can shelve all this advertisement and noise and insulting and demeaning statements and start construction, appreciating one another, appreciating contribution, appreciating the values, the expertise, and bring all that together. There is nothing in Kenya we can't do and build. That's our call today. In spite of the tremendous efforts we are trying to make to improve the health service delivery all over, and in this hospital in particular, we still continue very constrained by the reimbursements and payments from our NHAF that is now defunct, and from the SHA, which are supposed to be supporting us. Unfortunately, the systems are still not working. The hospital is not receiving these reimbursements in time. We still have over 250 million owed to us by government. And this we've been for the last 4 years. We try, we cry, we appeal, we plead, but we seem to receive just very uncommittal responses. Sometimes they say that we are complaining too much, or that we exaggerate. In any industry, company, organization, a debt of 250 million is a debt that paralyzes the institution. Yet we have continued offering. So we take this moment to urge the government, they must study how this must work. It's not enough to just give us rhetoric. We need payments, we need reimbursements, and we feel sad that we are hiding our head in the sand and not facing the problems.
The Catholic Archbishop is not new to this. He's been not once, not twice, He's been raising his voice on the governance. I've always been saying that one of the best things that happen between 2022 to 2027 general election here is the church, which President Ruto piloted as a campaign platform in 2022, has joined the other stakeholders and other Kenyans on the governance parade. Everyone is pushing for good governance. I've always been saying that President Ruto is very lucky that much as many people would see those who are crusading for good governance as his critics or rather his opponents. But one constant factor you realize is people don't speak about things that don't hurt them. People don't speak about things that don't affect their lives. When people are saying SHA is not working, it's touching their health. When people are saying you need to pay our teachers, it's indeed helping the education. So the president is struggling to create imaginations of development on people's mind. But what then puzzles me most is that Kenya Kwanza is the political outfit that even did nearly 47 economic forums in the 47 counties. Kenya Kwanza signed several charters. There was a charter with teachers, a charter with the police, there was a charter with the church, there was a charter with Kenyan women, there were charter with those living with disability. There was all manner of charters, charter with the Islamic communities. So there was all manner of charters, and by the time President Ruto was coming to power, his work was well cut out. He already in his desk he has known, and I remember he once said that he already knows what needs to be done where. But even after those economic forums, from this first tour of the president, he started with nimetenga, nitatenga, tutapanga, tumepanga. And half his term, I want to agree with Bishop that the president is still running around the country, is on top of the car, advertising what he plans to do in the next month, in the next week, in the next year, or even in the next term. But the language of I have done this seems not to be there. I don't know. In this podcast, I will only say in this podcast we have a stand. In this podcast, I've been saying that from April 2025, Ruto will be half his term. He ought to change the messaging to speak less about what he plans to do, but then to tell the country what has already been done. If you look at the advertising language, you'll be tempted to agree that he's doing nothing. I remember the statement about the statement about that road in the Moyale, the Isiolo Mandera stretch. The Isiolo Mandera stretch, the other day in Karen, the president, while the president was in Mandera, said that there are 7 contractors. When you do the research, you realize that the road has been subdivided into the 11 subsections. In Karen, when Kindiki was defending president's statement on that road, Kindiki said there are 11 contractors. Who is saying the truth? Now, President Ruto is committing that by 2027 he will build that road. And I heard his commitment. I think I had his commitment in Nairobi saying that he will build that road. When you go to the project paper, you will understand that that project is supposed to be complete. I was saying, when you go to the project's document there, the project is supposed to end in 2029. Now, so by the time Kenya will be going to that election, and 750 kilometers is not a joke. I'm telling you, from here to my place in Siaya is normally 483 kilometers. From here to Mombasa, I think it's around also 400. Nikama from Mombasa to Siaya. It's a long distance. probably Mombasa to Kisumu, maybe if it's not exaggerated, Mombasa to Kisumu. So it's a long stretch that it will not end in it will not end in 2027. In 2027, it will either be 30% or 40% done. So, he was again talking about the same language in Kilifi.
Kilifi ambazo ziliachwa nyuma kwa mambo ya kuunganisha stima, sasa watapata stima kama kaunti zile zingine zote. Na ndio sababu hiyo kaunti hii ya Kilifi mtapata shilingi bilioni 2 kwa ajili ya kusukuma mambo ya kuunganisha stima, na tunataka kuunganisha stima watu 21,000 wengine wapya katika huduma ya stima. Na tutafanya kazi na wabunge wenu, tukubaliane sehemu gani, wapi, kijiji gani, mahali gani hakuna stima. Na mbali na kazi hiyo, kwa sababu hapa mama mmoja amesema tunahitaji viwanda, lakini bado stima hapa iko chini kwa sababu haina transmission line ya kutosha. Umeme mara inapotea, mara haiko, mara iko na matatizo. Sababu hiyo last year nilikuja nikasema tujenge transmission line kutoka Rabai kuja Bomani mpaka Kilifi. That was phase 1. Na itakamilika by June this year. Pia tumeunganisha transmission line nyingine ya kuleta umeme kutoka Kilifi kuja Weru mpaka Malindi. Hapo tunatumia karibu shilingi bilioni 9 kuunganisha hiyo stima, so that we can have reliable power and we can power the industries that currently are present and those that we are looking for into the future. Nitarudi hapa kwa mapenzi ya Mungu in the next by June, July, kwa sababu Kenya Power na REDEC wanakamilisha hizo transmission lines so that we can have reliable power in Kilifi County. Kwa hivyo tutashirikiana pamoja na nyinyi, na mimi nataka niwaulize viongozi wote, saa hizi ni kushughulika na vile ya kupanga mambo ya maendeleo ya wananchi. Kuna siku itakuja ya kuomba kura. Election is a one-day event. Development is an every-day assignment. Na ndio tunataka tushirikiane tukiwa hivyo. So mimi nawauliza, mbali na hiyo kazi ambayo nimesema, mumeniuliza pia mambo ya barabara. Ni kweli ile barabara ya kutoka Mariakani tukafikisha Bamba, mkatuuliza itoke Bamba ikuje Garsen, ikuje sio Garsen but ikuje Ganze na iteremke mpaka Kilifi. So nakubaliana na mbunge Tungule, mbunge wetu wa pale Ganze, ya kwamba hiyo barabara inahitaji kukamilika, and I want to commit that we are working on the resources to make sure that that road is done, kwa sababu ni barabara ya muhimu sana. Mbunge huyu Tungule sijui anasema barabara hiyo imekwama mahali fulani, lakini nataka nikuambie mheshimiwa, kutoka pale Ganze sijui kama imefika pale Matano Manne ama bado. Sasa tutasukuma ifike Matano Manne alafu ifike pia Kilifi. Na mimi nataka mbunge wewe wewe pale Matano Manne nilisema nilipatiana pesa ya kujenga kanisa. Sijui kama ilijengwa, utaniambia baadaye kama ilijengwa hiyo kanisa ama iliendaje.
So, and this is why some of us are saying the president has a futuristic language, but if it has minimum impact on the ground, this is all going to backfire. How does Ruto, but then the question you need to ask is, why does Ruto employ this advertising language? And let me tell you, when the president is talking somewhere, and maybe you arrive in this country from another planet, and if you never heard of President Ruto, I'm telling you, even the village setup, when he has a convincing language, just telling you that nitatoka hapa, nitaenda hapa, nitaenda hapa, and you know, I've seen people asking about him, those names. The names of those places you can cram. He can cram because after you meet, he's already briefed. This is from here to here, and also he also have a very good memory. Yeah, he has a very good memory, so he can cram those names. Now, and that is part of convincing you that I know. The president will give you figures. The president will give you exact names. The president will give you exact kilometers. The president will give you the timing. So with all that, it is a convincing language. But this is why I'm telling you the president is putting up that futuristic language. Number one, Ruto made a mistake. He disabled the visibility of each ministry, of all the ministries, and all activities and projects that are done by specific ministries or all end up in president's desk as the man to advertise, as the man to talk about the project, as the man to talk about the tendering, as the man to talk about the timeline. And you will no longer see cabinet secretaries. In fact, I'm so sure when Rigathi says that Ruto is running a one-man show, partly Rigathi is right. You will rarely see cabinet secretaries attending or rather launching projects themselves. I don't know who said the project has to be launched by the president. In fact, I don't know who said the project has to be launched. The project can only continue, then the commissioning is done later, sorry. So, he disabled those ministries. And I know that his objective was he will get many activities, because sometimes if you leave, for example, the Ministry of Roads, if you allow CS to launch roads, then president will lack projects. Some of these things where president goes to, Ruto will go to a county and spend 5 days there. If you check some of those things, that some of those projects are being launched, they're supposed to be launched even by the area MCA. But that can't happen because the president has to take the credit. The second thing is this. The state has lost the information war, and this one they can't win. They've lost the information war because of the vibrant population using internet to seek accountability. And I'm saying you cannot fight with technology. We are in 2026. The guys who are in 2026, we brought free primary education in 2003. In 2008, during Grand Coalition, we introduced free secondary education. Before these two were introduced, not so many people were in school. Some of our ancestors never went to school. They went for hunting and gathering simply because they could not afford education. Nowadays, you can at least afford education from primary to secondary. You can at least afford. With its challenges, free capitation has issues here. But with at 10,000 per year, someone can afford to take his or her child to a mixed day secondary school. So you are dealing with an informed population, with a population that is much on the internet. And government is also executing a lot of stuff on the internet. There is a lot of explanation that is being done. They've lost that information war because I think for long, how many ministries are in TikTok? Just do research. How many ministries are in TikTok? Even the Ministry of ICT, your online digital space, is not on TikTok. How many ministries are active on Twitter? The only active handles in government is for individuals. The State House, or President Ruto, Musalia Mudavadi, and a few CSS there who are active. So, but the population are there. That is where the Kenyan people are. So they cannot win because you say this, they will fact check. The other day, the CS from the PS for Foreign Affairs made some mistake on sharing some fake video. It was flagged like immediately. He woke up in the morning to apologize to anyone who had flagged the video. So see how they were beaten hands down. The other issue is there. Ruto intel is that people are being fed with negative propaganda while government is thriving. And probably this is it. The finance bill protest, why it emerged, why it got to that level is because people associated with the overtaxation thing. The government later came out and said, you know, the government never explained to the people well about that finance bill. It was never about explanation. People got the explanation. The point was they understood what you are saying, but they said that is not what they want. I think Ruto also is under pressure to sustain popularity to the levels they were in 2022. You can't. You can't reinvent the 2022 hype. It can't be. The dynamics are there, and with the political realignments, things are changing very fast. So I believe what Anthony Muheria has told the president is something that the next day I will see some few MPs will emerge now with blows. Now that Muheria comes from Nyeri, hey, I'm telling you, Muheria is going to be profiled. He's talking because it is not Uhuru Kenyatta. He's talking because he comes from Rigathi Gachagwa's county. There's going to be all manner of funny and petty narratives. But I wish someone sits back and asks the president, wait, let's listen to this video. What this gentleman is saying is it. What can we do different? Instead of attacking, always ask, what can I do different? What is he saying? Why am I just saying, am I just normally comfortable saying that person is lying or that person is wrong? Sometimes you need to sit back and think before you act. Thank you.